Keaveney, 4 minutes.
Thank you, Cancórla, or Las Cancórla. Minister, you know I have great personal regard for you as a person, and I think you have many fine qualities. And it was those qualities that you possess that attracted me into politics, I have to say. And there is no doubt that we shared a lot in common with respect to political beliefs and political values. And unfortunately tonight I won't be able to continue sharing with that because I will be expressing my lack of support for the bill. There are a few regrets that I have in politics, but none of them relate to me voting against the social welfare bill last year. Nor will I regret having to vote against this bill. And the bill before the House, without doubt, is an effective, terrible attack on those people who voted for the Labour Party in the last general election. And I also regret having to witness you, Minister, breaking your commitment to social justice and to fairness, because I know you're a person who wakes up every morning with a view of protecting the vulnerable. And it's a sad day that you have been forced to do this by Cabinet. And it's a bad day because I know you as a person who sets out in politics to bring people in from the periphery, from the wing, to bring them in to the centre of society. And it is a sad day that you have been forced to do this. And that sort of forced collusion in last year's budget and in this year's budget is very, very, very difficult for people to accept. And they feel a very strong sense of betrayal with respect to the commitments that were given prior to the last general election in that regard. And I don't think you're actively colluding in this. I have said all along that you have been forced to do this. But clearly there is an element of having to witness you carry out the right-wing policies of Fine Gael and government, and indeed the democratic centralists of your own political party. And that sort of betrayal against your own values is something that's very, very difficult for the public to accept. Now, last year, Minister, you and your fellow Cabinet colleagues sold the country, and in fact you sold the Parliament a pup. You introduced a savagely regressive budget. You were told, and the House was told, that you would introduce a catalogue of wealth taxes. We now learn that those wealth taxes, drawn from the wealthiest in society, they're simply failing. They're not yielding. In fact, this year there is €130 million short from the wealth taxes in this country. No such shortfall has been reported from measures levied against low and middle income families. Because, Minister, you see, they can't escape to sunnier climes. They can't escape. The €130 million that hasn't been used in wealth taxes will be levied against working people through their pensions.
1 minute.
And, Minister, the use of language has been extraordinary in this budget. Under 26s have been told that they haven't suffered a cut, that it just relates to the extension of a lower rate to you. Minister, it would be akin to me walking into your office and saying, Minister, I'm not cutting your pay, but I'm extending the pay of the usher to you. Is that a pay cut or not? Is that a cut in core pay? Now, you can't trump consistently in the House that you haven't attacked core elements of pay or social protection. And at least Minister Noonan has the good grace to accept that there have been cuts of that significance. But, Minister, you can't laud the achievement of protecting core pay. It's undignified for you to do so in light of what has happened to young people in this country. And I think that, that you stretch the imagination of the definition of what core elements of social protection are. I mean, you have to go out and ask young people, elderly people, those people with children, you have to ask them what they feel, or do they feel to have got their core social protection protected? Because I think they will quickly challenge your notion of your belief. And I think you do your credibility great damage in that respect. Now, Minister, to conclude, just on behalf of young people and on behalf of lone parents and on behalf of those people who are left struggling through adjustments in maternity pay, they would tell you clearly that the budget is an utter disgrace. And, Minister, I feel sorry, but, when you go to Cabinet, I just don't envy the difficult task that you have. But I think that it's very, very clear that a lot of people out there are suffering clearly from this awful budget.
Thank you, Deputy.